Hey everyone, how's it going? This is Chappie here at Intense, and for today's video, we're going to be going over how to convert your bike to tubeless. Alright, so the first wheel we're going to do is the front. It's right here, so we'll go ahead on this particular bike. We're going to release the quick release, remove our front axle, slide the wheel out, put the front axle back in place for safekeeping. And then from this point, we will start this process by removing the air from the tube and debeading one side of the tire. This will help as we go to reinflate the tire. This will give us the ability to do this with just a standard floor pump. All right, so go ahead and remove our valve cap. We'll remove our valve stem nut. As you do this, push down on the tire and the wheel. This will help to get more air out and will help to basically make the tire easier to pop off the rim. So once the tire's essentially not letting any more air out of the valve stem, I'll go ahead and tighten that valve up. You want to turn that rotor towards you, and we want to debead the opposing side of our disc rotor. So with that, we'll go ahead and start. So use a little leverage. We want to pull the tire away from the rim bead there. And then once you get one spot started, we'll just continue to work the rest of the way around the wheel. As you can see, the goal there is just to get that bead to fall into the center channel of the rim here. So now that we've got the tire debeaded all the way around the rim on one side, the side opposing the rotor side, is we're going to go ahead and pull the tire back at the valve stem. We're going to take our tire lever, we're going to hook the tire bead and just roll this around. So I like to just, hook your tire lever on there, and then we just want to confirm that the tire is in the center channel of that rim all the way around. Then once we've done that, we can go ahead and take our tire lever. There's a couple ways to do it. My personal preference is just to run the tire lever between the bead of the tire and the rim, much like an automotive tire machine, and that will just help to separate it from the wheel. That all the way around. That'll release the tire from just that one side. And also, as you can see, the tire is still beaded on this side, and that's important to maintain to make reinflating the tubeless setup much easier. So once we've gotten to this point, that the bead of the tire is released, we'll pull our tire back away, and we will pull our valve stem out of the valve stem hole. Get this out of the way, taking care not to damage our rim tape. And from that point, we'll just simply pull the tube out. So let's go ahead and grab our included valve stem. This will be located in the accessory bag that comes with your bike. Go ahead, prep this. We'll pull the valve stem cap off. We're going to pull the stem nut off. There will also be a small O-ring. This is to go above the rim, not below. All right, so now that we have our valve stem prepped, we're going to go ahead and install it into the wheel. Now this is the most important part of the process to make sure that the wheel seals up the first time and you don't have any issues. So let's take our time and we'll go through this step by step. So from here, we're going to go ahead and pull our tire back away from the rim, exposing our valve stem hole. At this point, we want to make sure, just as another layer of confirmation, that the rim tape here is not torn around the valve stem hole. If it is torn, that will require retaping the wheel to ensure your tubeless setup is correct. So here we see our valve stem hole is looking good. So we'll take our prepped valve stem, we'll insert this into the hole, give a good firm press to make sure it's seated. And then from that point, we're going to go to the other side of the wheel. So first, we'll install our small O-ring. This helps as a layer of protection between the rim and the valve stem nut. It does not act as a sealing unit. So we'll take our O-ring, our valve stem nut, we'll go ahead and get this spun in place. And a really easy way to get this set up tight without using tools, which is important in my opinion, just to help reduce the chances of having your rim scratched or anything of that nature, is we'll actually utilize our included 3-way Allen, use the 6mm Allen head side. It's the largest out of the three. At this point, we'll just give it a firm press. And then come over to the underside where our valve stem nut is and just simply use our fingers to tighten this up. We don't need to get crazy here. If you go too tight, you will damage the valve stem and you'll have to get a new one. So that's why I do this depression here and then just finger tight the valve stem nut, and that will give us a really good seal. So we're going to take our included 100 ml tubeless sealant, so we'll use 1 per wheel. So we have 2 in the box, obviously. So here's our first one. This will be used in the front wheel. So now that we have our valve stem installed, we're going to place this in our tire. So what we'll do is make sure you shake this up very, very well. This will help to get all the particles suspended in the fluid, and that will give you the best chance of sealing any hole possible. So there will be a foil seal here. You can just use the lid as a puncture tool. That'll open that up. And then from this point, pour the entire bottle in. So with our sealant at the bottom, we will start re-beading the tire from the bottom, slowly working our way back up to the valve stem. It's important that anytime you re-bead or reinstall a tire, that you're always ending at the valve stem, which is the tightest portion of the installation. Simply just use your fingertips to get that tire over the edge of the rim. Let's work our way up symmetrically on both sides. As we get closer to the valve stem, it will get tighter. So as we do this, we can see this is starting to get fairly tight here. So we'll come back around, making sure that tire is in the center bead or the center channel of our rim. So as you can see here, it is not. So we'll push this back in. Double check one more time. And from this point, we should be able to roll like this, the tire into place. So once we've done that, around the valve stem area, as we've confirmed or ensured previously, this side of the tire is still beaded. So we have that all sealed up and ready to go. So what we'll do is make sure this side of the tire is on top of the bead here. So once that's done, we'll be able to take our floor pump and re-inflate this tire. Come in with our floor pump here, lock it into position, ensuring that this tire bead on our non-disc side is set up on the bead there. You notice that the tire is still not seating and you're nearing or over the max PSI listed on the tire. That's something you do not want to do. That can both damage the tire, it can damage the rim, and could potentially injure you as well, and make a mess as well. Sealant goes absolutely everywhere. So just making sure you never go over that PSI. Right now we're at 30, so we're going to go up to 35. So usually a great number to ensure the bead is fully set. So now that we have the tire beaded up and set on the rim, we will just simply take the tire and gently tap it off the floor, working our way around 360 degrees. Now that that's done, we have our tire set at 35. We'll go ahead and install it back onto the bike. Just go in reverse operation here. Visually inspect that the tire's straight, everything's beaded up, and at this point you don't have brake rub, so you don't need to address anything else. So this is 100% ready to go, and the front is now converted to tubeless. So there you have it. We have successfully completed a tubeless conversion. If you have any questions in that process or need any help at any point, don't hesitate to reach out to our customer service team. They'll be more than happy to get you taken care of. Make sure your bike's running good and that your next ride is great. Thanks for choosing Intense.